In this video, I am working with Beth Schuler and Tanya McGuire. I'm working along with them as they're in a hangout, and we are doing the second session of JB5s. Right now I'm getting my texture pieces ready, tearing them up. I'm using tissue paper and pattern paper. I want my pages tonight to look similar to the ones I did a couple weeks ago. Here I'm just tearing wax paper and getting my paint ready, using the same things, going to approach it in the same way. Those are the colors of the paints that I'm going to use. Just opening them up and getting them ready to start. The first prompt is to use color, and I'm using that pretty blue. We have 15 minutes between prompts, and I'm using a brayer to apply the first layer. Goes pretty fast with the brayer. And then the second prompt the second layer that I apply is still the first prompt of color. And I'm using a pinkish color. Started out with red, but about this time Shannon Green showed up and we got into a discussion of how red kind of looks like a bloody mess on your page. And I was thinking, well, you know, mine kind of does, but I know from experience that it all falls into the background. So I'm just stacking my pages up with wax paper in between because I don't have any dry time here. Add a little bit more white to that. And getting my texture pieces ready for the next prompt will be add texture. And for my texture, I'm using pattern paper and tissue paper, and I'm just unfolding it and getting it all ready to go. I will be using a wet glue to apply that. I'll be using school glue. And then straightening everything out here. We kind of have a little break in between each prompt where well, I guess we're still waiting for the next prompt. I'm just kind of writing things down. Filling my glue jar, my glue pot. I'm using school glue. I use 3 parts glue and a little less than 1 part of water for when I glue things down for my glue books. We had a discussion of what different people use as glue mediums. And this is a wet glue. Now I'm just biding my time waiting for the next prompt. When you work in a group like this, you have some wait time while other people are either drying or getting ready. So you kind of have to play with the group. Usually I try to keep myself busy doing things when I'm ready and I'm waiting for somebody else. But here I'm getting a little bit impatient, but there we go, we're starting now. And I just put glue down on the page, and then I just tack my pieces down. And my goal is just to get pieces down on the page first, and then I'll go back and collage them down really good. And so I just really tack them down fast, make sure I at least get something on every page. Now this is JB5s, and I put this into fast forward, and I will say when you're doing a JB5 session, especially if you have 20-25 pages, you feel like you're working in fast forward in real life. But I have to say I've gotten a lot better with working fast in these sessions. Just glue everything down. Now I have time, so I'm going to work back through my pages from the back to the front, and I'm just adding pieces where I think they should be, and collaging it down, making sure that everything's nice and neat on the page. And since this is a wet glue, I'm continually putting wax paper between each page. In the first week I threw my wax paper sheets away after I did my paint. Well, I learned not to do that in this session. So I keep my wax paper around for a while. I'm just making sure everything's glued down, and I use most of my tissue paper and almost all of my pattern paper. I have a few pieces left that don't have markings on them. I think I use one of them, and then I just take the rest and toss them. Just have a few little pieces left. So then I go back through and I start drying things, at least to get a top layer dry, because the pages are still wet. I used a wet glue, so they're pretty wet, and I don't need them to be completely dry, but just trying to get the, like I said, the top layer of the glue layer dry, so at least I can turn the pages or pull the wax paper off pretty fast. Now we're going into the third prompt, which is to stencil and stamp, and I'm using this beautiful flower stencil. I really love this flower stencil. It just really adds something to these pages that just makes them, well, kind of like a shabby chic page, and I think that's what attracts me to this. So I'm just going through each page. Now in this session, I do have wax paper between each one, so I have an extra step in between there. When I did this the first week, I didn't have that extra page of wax paper, so I didn't have to pull the wax paper away every time. But here I'm pulling wax paper away every time. But I still finish in plenty of time. Got a few more pages to go here. Loving this stencil. Using a white and a yellow paint mixed together. Now I'm drying each of the pages. The craft paint dries pretty fast, but I do give it a nice little dry before I stamp. I'm stamping with that kind of a diamond shaped background stamp. It just adds some texture. Just kind of dry each sheet before I stamp. It's not completely dry, but the top layer's dry. They'll have to dry, these pages will have to dry overnight. Yeah, just kind of rapidly stamp from the pad to the page. And then I still have time, so I'm going back through each page and drying it off. And I think this is the point to where I no longer put wax paper between each page. The pages are dry enough now that I can work on them without the wax paper. Which reminds me, I need to put wax paper on my shopping list. So I'm really loving the look of these pages. I even love the backs of them. So I just kind of do a little flip through. I'll show each one how unique they are. Now our next prompt will be images and words. So I'm getting ready and pull out I have a sack of words that I've been fussy cutting out. I cut out of magazines and newspapers, and now I'm going back through each of the pages. I have time, so I'm just making sure that any loose spots are glued down. I'll have to do that again later, but while I have time, I'm just making best use of my time to make sure everything's glued down. Kind of sorting out the words, finding ones that call to me, signing off and hello, seeing the light. Those are the things that I catch my attention when I'm fussy cutting. So there goes the hello, it's about time. I can't go working so fast here, I don't even see what all of them are saying. I will be doing a flip at the end of this video, so we'll read them off there. New lease on life. Got all my words down, so now I take a little bit more time and try to find an image that goes with the phrase. I mean, I know there's got to be something in there. And I really do like having that image book where I've saved off my images. I just tack them down with some low-tack double-sided tape from Dollar General. And it's really easy to flip through those pages and pull things. I'm going to do more of that. I've just been so busy with other things that But I'm finding that they really come in handy that way. They're not categorized or anything. They're just, and I like working like that rather than rifling through a box. Now I'm going back through and gluing each image down. Nice. And we're on the last prompt now, which is pencil and paint, and if you want to doodle, it's really adding your pencil and paint, I guess is the name of the prompt. So I'm framing everything off with my gold Krylon paint pen, and I'm loving that paint pen. I'm going to get me another one of those. And then I go back with my black marker and outline the images and do my running stitches and my notches, which kind of mimic the pattern pieces. And I did that on the first pages, so I want these pages to coordinate, so I'm doing the same thing. Not when I put a double running stitch on. Yeah. And I stick to the same type of border running stitch and throughout the whole session here. On my first session I tried to do different things rather than just the running stitch, but I'm happy with the running stitch. It's fast and it's easy. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And those notches that I'm adding, those little triangles, those mimic the notches that you see on pattern pieces to match up the pattern pieces, or to match up the fabric. You look for matching notches. Just about done here. Outlining the word and the images, and adding the running stitches and the notches all over the place. There we go. One couple more. Captured by you. And then you see here I take a little time, chat with the group. We get into a discussion of tar gel. And I happen to have some that was gifted to me by Annie V, so I'm telling them that in my next slide session that I'll get it out and show them what I have. And then Annie V also gifted me this beautiful Derivan ink. Oh boy, is that beautiful. I call that Derivan ink gelato in a jar. It's so creamy. I really, really have good things to say about it. And this is really free play now, but I've done the same thing on my other pages. You know, I have to have gold, and it just borders the pages. It just frames them all off. I will be binding this with a cinch machine, so this will be what I call my front page journal, and I'll be taking it outside and working on it, writing in it when I sit out on the front porch this summer. So having those pages bordered there just adds a little pizzazz to it. So this is my free play. Now in the first session I didn't get this done until a couple days after the session was over with, but I had enough time tonight, and then I just said I'm going for it. I want to get them done. Golden fingers. Loving that gold. I am loving that gold. We're taking some time to chat out there. I really do enjoy the hangouts and working along with others in the group. I enjoy seeing what others do. You learn a lot from others while you're doing this, and it's fun, and I get a lot of art done that way. So now I have all my pages pretty well finished, and I'm going to do a little walkthrough now. And at first I just show you the pages, just show you kind of just thumb through them. Show you two at a time here. I really love those flowers in the background. The images kind of have taken the focus now, but without the images I could just I could just use those pages with the stenciled flowered background, but the prompt was to add images and words, so there, and pen and pencil, so, or paint pen or whatever, so that's how we get to this point. And I'm happy with it. I'm happy, and I think it'll go good with what I did in the first session. It'll be a complete book. I think I did 20 pages then and 12 pages now, so I'll have 32 pages, which is about a month, but I don't sit outside every day of the week, so this will last me, it'll last me maybe a month and a half, 2 months, depending on how much I put in there. I'm calling this Pages in My Front Porch Journal is what I'm calling this. If you have an art journal, you should use it. If you make them. Now what I do is I just page through, and so that you can see how it might look if I were flipping pages in the final one. There's not a moment to lose. I have a clock and seeing the light. I think they're inventing the light bulb there. I have to go back and look at that again. It takes a village. There's the St. Louis Arch and a eagle. Without a doubt, just sunflowers in the window. Vintage music is her sunshine. I really like this page. It's the Twin Towers and the eagle. New Lease on Life. I have to chuckle because it's Noah's Ark. Captured by You. We'll Be Back. And then the last page appropriately is signing off. So I hope that you really enjoyed seeing this. Look at my gold fingers. Look at my gold fingers. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed doing the JB5s, and I will see you again on the next page.